We spend nearly a third of our lives at work. It can be really hard when that workplace environment becomes toxic. Maybe your boss is constantly criticizing you, somebody's taking credit for your hard work. It's depleting you. You're going home drained. You're dreading going to work it's affecting your system, right? So today I want to talk about toxic workplace environments and the difference between toxic work environment and a difficult one. Welcome to my audio diary where I talk about my thoughts. Join me, Catherine, as I navigate thoughts about life and relationships, dating and God, mental health struggles and motherhood, and all things feminine energy. I firmly believe that those of us that are on this self-help journey are just desperate for wisdom, guidance, direction, just any answers. So I'm happy to share any wisdom that I find along the way, but I'm just more happy that you're here and that we're doing this together. So let's get started. What's a toxic work environment and a difficult work environment? A toxic one, it's going to be important to pay attention to the patterns and the impact on your mental and emotional health. Patterns matter. So if it's one incident, like everyone has a hard day. Everyone has a hard day, but we're talking about the way that they consistently show up. And honestly, usually in a toxic workplace, it's not just one person, especially if the toxicity is above that shit runs downhill. Okay, I don't know how else to say it. It runs downhill. So let's talk about the signs of a toxic box or a toxic boss or a toxic workplace. I'm going to spit them out, bullet points. Here we go. Constant criticism without constructive feedback, micromanaging, public humiliation or embarrassment, taking credit for other people's work, playing favorites, gossiping, and triangulating, which triangulating is putting someone else in the middle and creating a weird triangle dynamic. Ugh, gross. Okay. Gaslighting. That never happened. Unrealistic expectations, fear-based leadership. I'm going to fire you if you like. It's the fear-based control. Okay. High turnover, big sign. And then walking on eggshells. If you feel like you're in a place where you're walking on eggshells, I've said that about relationships. It's the same at work. Bad sign. When narcissistic traits show up at work, let's just look at the behavior of what that looks like at work. So it's the same in a relationship with a narcissist, like that need for constant admiration, can't tolerate criticism, such a fragile ego, blames other people, avoids accountability, lacks empathy, uses intimidation or charm, depending on the benefits, and sees people as tools rather than teammates. Remember, we're just objects to people. They don't have that ability to connect, attach, really. When you're attached to someone, it hurts to hurt them. They don't have that, okay? So let's talk about how it affects you. It can give you self-doubt, can give you anxiety, burnout, hypervigilance, difficulty separating home and work. Like you could be bringing it home, loss of confidence, feeling trapped. You probably are bringing it home because the reality is when you're so deeply affected emotionally, it's hard to put that in a box. Even people with amazing mental health tools, like that's a hard thing to do is compartmentalize and put emotions in a box like that. I have worked at in toxic workplace environments and abusive workplaces. Blah. Ugh, have past tense. Thank God it's past. But what I will say is could feel in my body when my weekend was ending. When it was time to go back to work, I'd feel like slower, more tired, like I wanted to crawl into bed, like depressed. All the symptoms of depression. Like it was so bad. Depressive state. It became so apparent to me when I left I did a mission trip, God's kingdom, so deeply fulfilled, loving on small children, right? Like helping make the world a better place, like deep fulfillment. And then to come back and I immediately felt my entire body sink into a depressive state, knowing I had to come back to work. And I quit my job. I came back and I put my 2 weeks in, like that next shift. Because I think that contrast made it apparent how actually depressing it was making my body feel. So how do you protect yourself? Okay, you cannot personalize unhealthy behavior. This is true for platonic, professional, romantic, I don't care. All of the relationships in your life. If they're acting unhealthy, it's a reflection of them and not you. Please don't internalize other people's behavior. It's important that you document important conversations. It's like abuse. We're documenting, we're keeping track, the date, the time, the incident, witnesses would be a good thing to account. All right. Keep communication professional. I am a big fan of the yellow rock or the gray rock method. Big fan. I'm going to give you a quick definition in case you are unfamiliar. Gray rocking is a tool that we use when it comes to a difficult person that is trying to set you up always, right? Like anything you say is wrong, anything you do is wrong. They're trying to engage you in a conflict or triangulate you or say, did you hear what Jennifer did? Blah, I did. And then they go Jennifer and they're like, oh, they were talking about what you did. No. We have to keep our mouths shut around people like that. So once you realize that this is a toxic person, you cannot trust them, we're going to start gray rocking. That is where you act as boring as possible. You actually channel a gray rock. Ready? Here I go. You just blank stare. You could start mouth breathing and drooling. Whatever you need to do for them to walk away and go to the next person to try and antagonize. Because if you are boring, they can't get a reaction, a rise, the drama, the triangulation out of you. You're not going to be good for their supply, so they'll find somebody else. Now, gray rocking doesn't always work, so let's talk about yellow rocking. With some narcissists, or say you have a boss, you can't just gray rock, right? Like that doesn't make sense. So yellow rocking is a step above. So you might be saying some things, but nothing that can be taken one way or another. More like non-defensive responses. Yellow rocking would be more like, oh, gotcha, right? Like very minimal interaction, as little words as possible, as no emotion. No emotion, please. Please try not to react to narcissistic or toxic people because they're studying you and they want to know. It helps them to manipulate and abuse you better. Avoid workplace gossip. Like I said, we're gray rocking. You can't get involved. Setting healthy boundaries is really important. You're not at the beck and call to your work outside of work. I mean, maybe you are. I don't know what kind of job you have, but I'm going to talk to the majority of people right now. I'll talk about myself. Okay, I work for myself as a coach. I help people out of abusive relationships. There are times where I'm not available to coach, right? I'm available during our session. I'm available via email, in which I will respond to you at an appropriate time. I'm on vacation, right? Like if somebody is emailing on vacation, that's not boundaried to be then. Or like I'm with my family at dinner. You're not picking up the phone, right? Because I didn't set my business up to be a crisis line. I didn't set myself up to be that first responding person. I'm not that. I'm not in a case of an emergency. I'm more of an advisor. So there's really no need for me to get up from the dinner table to do this work, right? So I don't know if you have a boss that is demanding more from you than they're willing to pay you, if they're paying you for a 40-hour salary, but they're, right? Like, are they taking care of you? Or are they abusing you? Because those are your boundaries. I don't respond to people after work. If I do, I type up the email and I schedule it to be sent the next day during working hours because I want to make sure that my boundaries are clear to people that this is my time after work for my family or for me or for the gym, because if I'm not protective of my space, my tank will be empty. And who suffers? My son suffers, my students suffer, my clients suffer. You know, the people in my life that are depending on me suffer. So I am a source for people, which means I have to protect myself. So you need to have boundaries for the work that you're willing to do. Let's see. Build relationships with trustworthy coworkers. Yeah. Definitely. You want to try and find the healthy people and become a united front. Get familiar with your HR policies. And honestly, update your resume. I'd be applying for new jobs. Okay. Be in communicate, document and understand your rights and HR's policies and all of that. But at the end of the day, you need to know that HR works for your business. I mean, they're supposed to be on the team member side, right? They're there to help the team members. But at the end of the day, your business can just come up with a policy and change it. Like HR, know your rights, know your legal rights, but you may need to consider finding a job elsewhere if it's possible. All right. So questions to ask yourself. Is this occasional or is this a consistent pattern? Do I feel psychologically safe here? Do I feel emotionally safe here? Am I growing or just surviving? Is the environment aligned with my values, and what is this job costing me in my emotional life, in my relationships, in my home? Like, what is this job costing me? So these are good questions to ask yourself. How do you know it's time to leave? Your health is declining. That's time to leave. Your boundaries are repeatedly ignored. Time to go. Out. We are out, because I've said this. A boundary is a demonstration of how you will be treated. It's not a request. It's not like, hey, can you please not give me work after 5? It's I don't work after 5. I don't. Okay. It's not a request. And then they send you work at 5:10. You don't do it. I don't do work after 5. Okay. Or whatever your boundary is. I don't care. I'm not trying to like impose. If you work past your salary and you're happy with that, like I'm not trying to, whatever. I don't care. I'm just saying whatever boundary that you need to put in place because you are emotionally suffering and this would help you. We don't request it. Like, this is my need. I'm not doing this, right? Okay. I'm sorry. Can I hammer it in anymore? I just want to beat that into the ground. Are you staying because of fear and not because of purpose? There's ongoing manipulation and retaliation. Time to leave. Last, the leadership shows no willingness to change. And that's my thing. Why stay then? Like, I'm going to bring it back to unhealthy relationships. I know we're talking about workplace, but my specialty is partners. If I bring up something to you and you are not willing to change, what more is there to talk about? What more? You need this. They said no. Great. I understand it's not that simple. We're talking about our financial life. We have dependents. Like, some people live in urban areas and there's no jobs. Like, I know it's not that simple, but a lot of times it really is. And we create barriers. I've been here. What if I can't find a job? I'm comfortable. This is what I know. Until your comfort zone becomes more uncomfortable than the unknown, you're going to stay in it. It's not comfortable. I know that outside of your comfort zone is a little scary, but it's not necessarily uncomfortable out there. It actually could be real cozy. Real cozy. It's just a little scary because you're not sure. You should try it. Try it and let me know. Comment and let me know how it goes. If there's anything else you want to talk about, please let me know. Like, follow, subscribe. It really helps me. I just want to help in any way I can. So tell me what we need. Tell me what we need to talk about to get past the abusive people in our life, heal, and be more self-empowered. And we're going to talk about it. Talk to you next time.